So we're back again, Shantam Fam, with Dr. Rosalee Brown. She is just giving us so much information about food and balance and lifestyle, diseases, healing foods. So stay tuned, share our video, like, subscribe, share the wealth, share the information, help us to support one and each other in this season. Tam and I thank you again and enjoy our video.
So our foods are healing. Our foods can help to reverse diabetes and high blood pressure or manage them very quickly if we're wise in how we use it.
How we do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm glad you said that it's not easy, right? Because it all depends also on mindsets. Because when you're so used to eating a certain way and cooking a certain way, it's hard to shift, right? And to say, I'm going to start doing it this way, right? Myself, I know I'm in that kind of predicament right now because my fiance does not eat meat, you know, and I was saying to Tam, I feel pressure for cook dinner, right? Because you're so used to cooking your rice and peas and your chicken and your this and your that. So how to think of different ways to prepare food. So what advice would you give to individuals who are on this journey of shifting in terms of how they prepare food and also shifting on the type of foods that they eat? What advice would you give to individuals?
Right. So you said something which is critical. It's not easy. The change behavior, it's a lifelong thing, and we achieve maintenance and then we relapse. But the important thing is to know what you want. So first we have to assess ourselves to see what our risk factors are. Why is it we need to change? Is it because it's the fad? Or is it because when we have done our personal assessment, we realize that our risk for high blood pressure or diabetes or many other conditions are increased, or because we're a bad example to our children and we don't want them to. So do that self-assessment. When you have done that and you realize what is it you need to change, then you need to seek help in doing that. So you don't want to be all over the place and listening to all the information out there, which many of them is not correct. So the first place to start, do a self-assessment. Find out what is it you need to do. Then you're going to source professional help. Professional help is available, but as I said before, professional help can also be in your network, somebody who has succeeded before. And then you are going to work at it. You start small. So you make your goals and you make small changes. So you could look at it and I'm not eating any vegetables at all. And I realize vegetables are good. So you look at how you're going to start small, maybe by one day in increasing vegetables in your diet. You mentioned that you always want to cook the rice and peas and so on. But as we said before, that's not necessarily bad. So maybe what you need to look at is how you prepare it and the portion sizes. So do the self-assessment and you know where to start based on your issue. And then you work at it. You get a community which can work with you. So other persons who maybe want to achieve the same goal and you support each other and you work to that end. So you're a Caribbean group of persons, you love your Caribbean foods, you love to eat your rice and peas. So maybe one place to start is how am I going to now make my rice and peas dishes a little less high calorie? So instead of using that whole can of coconut milk, I'm going to start now experimenting. When I use half a can or quarter can, I don't want my family to say, yuck, this don't taste good. Yes. So how can I now increase the flavor? So this is it. There's no magic. There is absolutely no magic in living a healthy lifestyle. Finding the resources to do it and then start. Then start doing it. And when you fall off the bandwagon, you get back on and you keep doing it. And it's not about perfection. So if you can do it at least 80% of the time, you are doing well. None of us will be perfect. As I said before, food can be medicating. So for example, it's raining now. Your mind goes back to that time when you were a child, when it was raining. What was the comfort food? You start feeling for that. Or if you're happy, there are certain foods which are associated with happiness for you in your specific circumstances. Or if you're sad. So these are realities you'll have to deal with. You have to face them. And then maybe you have to replace some of them. So it's a continued journey of self-awareness, intentional changes, support, and ensuring that you're doing the right thing. That's the mindset. Do your self-assessment and start now. And you can be healthy. You can change your lifestyle. You would be surprised how well you can do, Shan.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that, right? And I think, just with the few points that you gave us today in terms of setting boundaries and mindset, shifting your mindset and portion sizes, it was valuable information that I know that the viewers will appreciate. But are there any last words that you would like to say to the viewers just about health, lifestyle, diet? In times like these, we see that people are dying very young, right? For various reasons. Right. And as you mentioned, heart attack is one of the main reasons why young people are dying. Right. Are there any final words that you'd like to give to the viewers in terms of their lifestyle and the connection with food?
Okay. So we know heart attack in the first world country. I'm not sure about Canada, but I know it's the leading cause of death in the US. In Jamaica, or chronic disease is diabetes and high blood pressure. But many times persons do not die from the diabetes and the high blood pressure. It causes the heart attack because our cardiovascular system is what keeps us going. So again, it goes back to basics. So I would say to those women in childbearing age, you have not started yet in having children. You need to start preparing yourselves to have children. A lot of times the preparation starts with the car seat and the beautiful this and the beautiful clothing. You have to start with you. So start making those changes. And often we know sometimes persons get pregnant without even knowing. But I know many persons plan, even it's this year I'm going to be pregnant or next year. So you start preparing yourselves, trying to get to the right weight, starting eating properly. We need to prepare ourselves for children, for childbearing, because many of the diseases you spoke about, persons would be shocked to believe that the predisposition starts from in pregnancy. Wow. High blood pressure, research has shown that infants which are stressed in the third trimester or they suffer from undernutrition, they're at higher risk of having high blood pressure. And they're looking to see if this is also part of the predisposition in Blacks, what happens in utero. Also, with diabetes, the predisposition can also start in utero. So I would say to women who are now educated, they are so aware and they want to have healthy children, start by having a healthy environment for those children. And then when you're pregnant, what you eat, what you read, what you listen to, what you take into your bodies will make that child healthy. The things you eat in the third trimester can affect the taste buds of your children because the amniotic fluid, they start tasting it. So if you're having junk, they are going to want, and you wonder where it comes from. So start having those things you want them to enjoy, especially in the third trimester. Another thing, breastfeeding is gold. It's the best thing to give to your newborn. It prepares them. There's a lot of talk now about the whole gut microbiome. The best way to prepare the gut microbiome of your young one, your infant, is to make sure the first thing that comes in contact with that surface is breast milk, because what it does, it cultures. So your microorganism cultures the whole surface of that infant's GI tract, especially if it is a vaginal birth. And then you continue to breastfeed. When children are breastfed, their risk of many of these diseases are reduced. When you start giving them cow's milk, you start increasing their risk, because cow's milk is made for baby cows. Yes, you can make it safer for infants, but it's not the same. And then when you start to introduce them to food from the family pot, make sure those food from the family pot are healthy foods. So the first food shouldn't be fries and chicken tender and so on. You have to prepare healthy foods for your children because they remember this.
Wow.
Even without, they know they're remembering when they're sad, when they are happy. Those are the tastes that their brains go back to, and they don't even know why they're craving these things. So women, family, but especially women, it says the hands that rocks the cradle, you are going to influence the world. It is no sort of terminology or idiom that we should take lightly. It is true. What we feed our children determines what they become, and it also determines the sort of diseases they will have. And as they grow older, the choices you make is going to influence your disease state. But you might be wondering, am I doomed for failure if my mom made the wrong decisions and so on? No, you're not. As soon as you make the changes, you can start seeing results. It's harder because you're now hardwired. But as I said before, you can be intentional and you work at it and you can make changes. It's a fight sometimes because you keep remembering. So for example, I can share with you, when I was younger and a little older than very young, because something like Milo, I learned about Milo when I maybe was in my teens. When I was younger, we didn't have a lot of Milo. But Milo with best butter, as we call it in Jamaica, and white bread, that seemed to trigger something for me, although I do not have bread now. But when there is any sort of nostalgia, or we're talking about family or childhood, that comes back. Another thing which comes back is that same white bread with roast beef sandwich, because roast beef was the Sunday dinner with the rice and peas.
Okay.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yes,
And I'm sure you
yes,
have your own
yes.
experiences.
Yes, yes.
So you have to make those experiences for your children healthy experiences, because they're going to remember them and they're going to teach them to their children. But as we grow older, we have to make intentional choices to be healthy. Diabetes runs in my family, so it's a fight for me every day to keep it at bay. I have a sweet tooth because my mother used to bake, and as I told you, I grew up in the country. We ate a lot of starchy food. We are from a group of persons who mostly did manual works, the slaves and so on. So ground provision and starchy foods were the best fuel for them. It's not a bad thing. But when you get into this modern age where we all sit at desks and we drive around, we have to now modify the portions, not eliminate. But many of us, we don't do that because, as we say, and I'm not sure how many Caribbean persons are on your blog and on your channel, but as we say in Jamaica from very early, you must stretch. So it has to do with volume. You learn to eat a large amount. So until you get to that volume in your stomach, you never feel full. Because there is what we call the stretch chemical. So your stomach is used to having a certain amount. But you can change that, Shan, you can change that, Tam, by practicing to eat less. And then after a time, your stomach gets used to now a smaller volume. And the same thing can be done with how you prepare foods. It takes about 10 days for your taste buds to adapt. So you have to hang in there. But those are 10 hard days of kicking and screaming and saying this don't taste the same and all of that. But if the value is there and the intention is there, you will keep at it. And if you spoke to the family to say, this is what we need to do so that we can be healthy, and give them a choice so they can help with the preparation, help with the shopping. It won't be so hard. It won't be easy, but it won't be so hard. So I hope I answer your question. If I did not, please ask another one.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much for your time and for your wealth of knowledge.
Yes,
Yeah.
you certainly did. I'm thinking like I need to rework my whole like food and to really get the kids on board. I feel like I need to have you in my pocket when I go.
I know.
You can do that. Just start small. And trust me, these children nowadays, they are very smart. They read a lot. So while it makes sense to them and they are a part of the conversation, they kick and scream when they're not a part of the conversation. And let them know why we're doing this. Some of them like to experiment, get them in the kitchen. And especially if they can see champions out there, and you have a lot of champions now on the internet who are eating healthy, they will come on board. And you give them that time where they can have some of their treats and so on. They can come on board, but have the conversation as a family, and it won't be so difficult.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Brown. We so appreciate your time, your wealth of knowledge, the expertise. We're going to probably have to find another time to have you back, because I'm sure this conversation is probably going to generate a lot more conversation with the viewers. And we might have more questions that we want to ask you sometime later on, but we really do appreciate your time. We appreciate your knowledge. It's been very valuable. And we want to just say thanks again. And we wish you all the best in your practice and everything that you're doing yourself.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. And I wish you all the best with this channel. You are doing a great job. As I said before, I viewed some of your content and it's great. So all the best. And I'll send you a contact, which you can put below. How persons can contact me. All the best.
Thank you
with
to
your
you,
channel.
Dr. Brown.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.